Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 2 of Drumming Across Cultures. Today we've got someone special lined up as we're diving into the world of African drumming with none other than Jimi Dale. Jimi Dale has been a trailblazer in bringing African music to New Zealand, teaching African drum and dance classes in Auckland and beyond since 1995. Lately he's been diving deep into the sounds of the Kora too, also creating these beautiful instruments. Letting his passion for music lead the way, Jimi's all about creativity, whether it's singing, drumming, dancing, storytelling. You might have caught him performing with his band Tamani, a world music and dance group he founded that basically lights up the stages of all the events all over the country. For Jimi, there's nothing better than seeing how African drumming brings people together, how a simple beat and melody can get everyone up and dancing. So grab a drink, get comfy, and join us as we explore the incredible journey of a man who's been keeping the drum beat alive for decades. Jimi Dale, welcome to the podcast.
Oh, this is exciting.
It is.
I have never listened to a podcast, been on a podcast, so I'm not actually sure what I'm in for here.
Well, you get some of them that are quite structured and like a lot of questions written down maybe, or a whole lot of information presented to each other, actually in a different format. This is just a bit more of a casual just chat, hanging out and just sort of chatting really about everything. So what is your, let me just start again. What's your favourite rhythm? Let's start there. To play.
Oh, right, that's a changing thing, really. It's like my favourite drum. When you're surrounded by so many drums and instruments and stuff and songs. Anyway, like yesterday, I just happened to be watching something on YouTube. I forget the name of the group, but they were playing a version of Saucernet, which I used to really, it was one of my favourite songs like 20 years ago, Saucernet. We used to play it all the time. But this version that they played yesterday was a slower, more laid-back version of it. And it reminded me, I thought, I might pull that out of the bag again.
Did it have like a whole... dance with it as well?
A lot after a while, you kind of, you move on. You want to do something different.
Yeah. Did you have a whole dance with it as well that you were watching and listening to?
Yeah. There was no dancing. It was singing, and it was women. There was one guy playing djembe, but it was a really tuned down djembe. It wasn't like the bright, loud.
Mm-hmm. If you just got one of them.
The women were playing dun-duns and bells and shakers, and there was one guy on a djembe. It sounded like it was almost like it had a cow skin on it, but still tuned down cow skin, like a bright conga kind of thing, I guess. I really liked it. It was slow, and that's one of the things that I'm finding that, I don't know, maybe it's an age thing, slow and groovy rather than fast and furious.
Yeah. The I remember at when we came to Riversley with Jenny and myself, we were doing a workshop, our weekend that we usually ran, like a Kora camp sort of thing. And Jenny runs them, and she got you down, and you did a Saucernet as a dun and dance for us.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
And it's still one of my favourite things to perform. As a group, it's just dynamic breaks, just high energy, beautiful dance movements on the dununs. It's like 3 minutes, but it's like bang, bang, bang.
I know. Well, one of the things that I love about it is that it has, because it's a 6. It's in 6, but it has that like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, da 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 da, dun da 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 da, which is like, but then it has that da 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 that runs through it as well. So, and the dance actually does that, where it's on it's a 4, you're stepping in 4, but sometimes you're stepping in the 6 rhythm, and you jump between the two. I love that, I love that.
We've just
when I
learnt a new
first,
piece last year called Mane. I learnt it while I was in the UK, and Jenny also learnt the dance as well.
yeah,
And not from the same guys. I can't remember who it was from. And basically, we've got a whole like 6-8 piece, and then the dance is all about the on the beat on the 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3, and it's just
yeah,
it's like so dynamic polyrhythms, and the way it's just a beautiful dance and a beautiful rhythm to play as well.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know, having those two sounds juxtaposing each other.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
so
that's
that
cool.
Source and Eight was my one of my favourites ones from you. So like, what made you start drumming, Jimmy?
Oh, that's an interesting one, isn't it? I think I've always been into rhythm. I've always been more rhythmical than melodic in my approach.
Hmm.
I've always melody. It doesn't come easy to me, or as easily to me as rhythm. And years and years ago, when I was traveling, I was hanging out with a bunch of people. We were kind of living on a beach in the Sinai Desert, and one of the guys was a German guy. He was like, the most incredible guitarist, and the rest of us were kind of, just hanging out and stuff. And
Hmm.
one guy had a guitar there, and he showed me a few chords, and I just started playing these two chords
Hmm.
back and forth, like. But I got this really kind of cool groove going.
Hmm.
And then this German guy was just going off, soloing on his guitar. And my heart felt like it was leaping out of its chest. I was like, whoa, this is incredible. It's like there was my first moment of playing music with
Hmm.
anybody in that way. And then there was another guy, he was called Bongo Dave from America. And he was a professional drummer, but he was traveling with bongos.
Hmm.
So and he was playing bongos, and he he would play the bongos, and a few of us would play these big pots and stuff like that. So that was my first introduction into rhythm, and then
Yeah.
yeah,
When was your first? What like when did you start playing the djembe?
don't know yeah, because what happened was I met Sandman Zanza was my
Mm-hmm.
introduction to African drumming. I was studying dance at the Performing Arts School,
Mm.
and Sandman Zanza came to Auckland and taught a weekend workshop
Awesome.
of African drumming and stuff like that. So, and out of that weekend, there was, I don't know, 5 or 6 of us that formed a group. And
Awesome.
so but we didn't have djembes in those days. The only drums that we had were congas.
Right.
There was no dunduns or anything. And even Sam, he was teaching everyone
Mm-hmm.
playing kind of, I can't remember, there might have been some other African style drums, but it was mainly congas we were playing at the time. And anyway, this guy, he was a professional drummer, the leader of the group. Um, he organised for us this, and we used to teach. We used to we hired a church in Parnell,
Mm.
and we did African drum night for 6 week blocks during the winter. This is back in 92, I think,
Right.
91,
Yeah.
92.
And
Yeah.
and you were learning from him, or just being part of the teaching crew?
No, we were all learning from what we learned was stuff we'd learned from Sam,
Mm. Okay.
basically.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then the guy that was the leader of the group was really keen. He went to Ghana and he brought back a guy from Ghana to teach in Auckland for a while. But that was the airway drumming, with the sticks,
Yeah. Yeah.
that airway style drumming with the sticks and all of that kind of stuff. And I don't know where he got it, but one day he showed up with a djembe,
Mm-hmm.
right? And everyone was like, "Wow, what's that?"
What's this
We were all like,
newfangled contraption?
"Yeah, but not only that, congas were like this big and weighed a ton." And he had this djembe that you could just, was light and easy to carry, and you could wear it and
Mm.
like that. And that was our first time I mean, I'd seen them before from traveling. I'd been in France and I'd seen people playing them, but I didn't know much about them at all. That was my first time actually seeing one and having a go on it.
Yeah, I've probably been drumming for maybe about a year, I think, since and I went on it's where I first met you, was at a camp in, I think it's Brookfields in Wainuiomata. Patrick organised it for you, and you brought down Mohammed Bangora.
Yeah, I remember that camp.
Yeah, and I think we did like a rhythm, Casa and Soliwoolen was on the agenda that day, and that was my first time I met you and Mohammed Bangora as well, and that was like, for me as a real beginner, it was just like an epic camp to be part of. You know, never felt my hands hurt as much as what they did after that. And I was like, why do I want to do this again? It's like my hands are sort of bruised. But, you know, you get used to it, eh?
Yeah, you do. And it's interesting you should say that, because you remind me, like, my first experience of someone teaching African drumming was a Pizzo, who I'm bringing. He's going to be here in 3 weeks with me.
Yeah.
I met him. He came to New Zealand to work with a Maori group over in the Hawke's Bay, and someone heard about him coming, and they organised a workshop for him to teach. And they contacted me, because by then, after the first time that I saw the djembe, because I wanted one, right? And the only way that I could, at that time, that I thought I could get one was to make my own one. So what I did was, there was a storm here called Cyclone Bowler. Have you heard of that?
No.
Well, anyway, I was living next to a tree that came down in Ponsonby, that came down during Cyclone Bowler, and the council came and chopped it into lengths about this long. So I dragged one of them off to a wood turner guy and got him to turn me out a djembe shape.
Have you still got it?
No, a friend of mine's got it. She loved it, and I gave it to her for her birthday.
Oh, fair enough. It'd be worth millions now, mate, that.
Yeah.
Jimmy's first drums.
Jimmy original, yeah. But so that started me off on the journey, and then I moved from Auckland to the Coromandel, and I started making djembes there. I was living in the bush. I dragged logs out of the bush. I found a wood turner that showed me, and I started making myself on the lathe. And
you got yourself a lathe? Or use theirs?
No. This friend of mine had a giant. At the time he was kind of a worldwide renowned
woodworker,
wood turner, really.
Mm-hmm. Oh wow!
And he had developed this tool for hollowing out logs. Before you couldn't do it; you had to hollow them out with a chainsaw. But he had this special tool that you could go right inside with it as well. So the whole thing was done on a lathe.
Oh, nice.
So
much easier than by hand, eh?
I ended up with about 30 or 40 djembes that I made.
Workshop ready. I
never intended to be a teacher or anything like that, but then I met this guy, Nick Prater, who knew Ghanaian drumming, and he just said to me, "Look, I know how to play these. You've got the drums. Let's run workshops together."
That's my next question was like, you are the first person in New Zealand to run the drum and dance camps. You're like a pioneer for all of us here in New Zealand. So thank you from all of us. So and he inspired you. He said, okay, I can play these things. You guys, you've got the drums.
So I started learning from him, and we travelled around the country doing workshops down in Nelson and over in Hawke's Bay, and I can't remember, mainly around Auckland. And then after a year, he decided to go back to the UK. He was from the UK, and they decided to move back to the UK. So that kind of left me. But by then, I'd learnt enough from him to be able to just kind of carry it on.
And then from then, was it a Pizzo? It was next?
Yeah, well then it was kind of, it's funny how synchronicity works, because what happened was he left, and then this friend of mine, Belinda, who who loved African dance, she discovered a Apizo and organised this weekend workshop with him. So
Wow.
I showed up with the drums and he was the teacher, and it was like what I've never seen anybody play like he did before. You know how like you talking with Muhammad. Like,
Yeah.
he just did this performance this night, and when he started playing, my eyes nearly popped out and my jaw dropped. I couldn't imagine that anybody could play like that. It just blew my mind. It was incredible.
And you don't just hear the normal sounds as well. You hear the other sounds that are coming out of the djembe, things that you've never heard before, and it's like, how do these guys make these sounds come out of? Oh, I know bass tone slap, and these guys are making the drums sing in a different way. That it's just it's mind blowing.
Yeah, and it's a language too, and they sing it. They can sing what they're playing. You know, like that Indian tabla technique stuff. I forget. There's a name they give it to the. They have a rhythmical language that they learn.
Yeah, it blows my mind how amazing these guys are when they come over. So Apizo is when's he coming to New Zealand again?
He arrives on the 13th.
And what have you got planned?
He's here for about a month.
13th of March.
Yeah, we're doing a show at a place called the Button Factory here in Auckland on the night of the 13th of March, and then he goes down to the South Island and he's doing some stuff with in Nelson, I think, and around Motueka. What's that? Where Miro lives. I forget the name of it.
Are you going round with him, or is he's just Miro will take hold of him and show him the ropes around there? Jeremy? Okay.
Jeremy Cloak's basically the one in charge of that, with support from Miro and Kimberly and Nelson.
Awesome. Wow,
Kimberly,
that'd be amazing.
Nelson. Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about trying to arrange something for Wellington, so I'm still in talking to the crew as what we can do for that.
Yeah,
but it's just the strange timing of Cuba Duper that weekend.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, what would you say would be the biggest thing that you got from Apizo? The way that how he teaches, etc.
Yeah, well, if I'm honest, I feel incredibly blessed and grateful for the fact that he was my original teacher.
Yeah.
Too, because I think his ability to read the room where people's ability is at, it's quite humbling, really. When he did the camp here in New Zealand.
Yeah.
Nobody knew anything, so none of us we were all just there in a circle, kind of gobbledygook at what this guy was teaching, kind of thing. But after that, he runs a camp in Australia. I don't know if he still does it anymore, but until recently he was doing it. It's called Bundadjan.
Okay.
And it's a community up in northern New South Wales. And they used to run I think it was like 8 days long camp, and it was I was doing drumming and dance, so it was 8 hours a day of classes with them. But in Australia, at that time, the people there, they were kind of way more advanced than any drummers here in New Zealand.
Yeah.
And so when I went to that camp, it was very competitive. There was 80 drummers at the camp, and a lot of them are professional style drummers, and there was this kind of push to be as close. The closer you were to a Apizo was a prestigious kind of place.
You at the back or somewhere?
Yeah, well, no, I just sat down. I didn't know. But I know what he did was he sat us all down on the first morning, and then we just. And he just went around and he started us off with like a warm-up thing. Then he just went around and he just walked up to people as just go. So he'd point to you and you go and sit over there in that chair, and that person would come and sit in your chair. So then he kind of set up the pecking order. And then he told people that's where you are for the camp kind of thing.
Oh, sweet.
You know
Sweet.
what I mean? It was kind of like, and it's kind of intimidating as well, you know? It's kind of because he's like, and like one of the things that I noticed was like you'd be playing and you think like, and then you'd miss a beat and he would
straight away.
Turn his head and you go, how did he know that it was you that missed that beat?
There's another 80 djembes playing, and how did he know it was me?
And he would look at you, and you knew why he was looking at you. Kind of thing.
We do.
But within that, that's one of the things that I was aware of. I felt like beginners to really advanced people, by the end of the 8 days, we all felt like we were far better drummers.
I bet.
Than we were before the camp. And even like if you do 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, he has this ability to take you to this place where you felt like you came out better than before you went in.
Yeah.
And even for people that maybe had never even hit the djembe before, I just felt like he was really good at that.
There's a great energy about him, isn't there, that attracts people?
Yeah.
You know, it's he's engaging, humorous, and also for those who want it, is extremely talented and can teach you as much as you're willing to learn. Eh?
Yeah, and he's good at pushing you too.
Yeah, I found that out.
yeah. You know, he'll come on. You know, you can do this kind of thing. You know, and it's a challenge, but it's not overwhelming kind of. Maybe in some cases. For me, I had felt overwhelmed by him at times. Because I've done a lot of stuff with him. I think he's been maybe a little bit more pushy with me than other people. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's my own.
I'd do it.
Yeah.
You know, you're familiar. You know people's levels and where they're at, and you always want to make people feel as though they're getting something.
You can do this. Yeah.
Yeah, if they can get something from the workshop, then push them a little bit harder. I know that when at we call it Nathan's camp, the African Drumming NZ camp last year.
Yeah.
Last year we had a piezo and he just taught us a few drills.
Yeah.
Right, and just by practicing the drill and showing other people the drill in class, I feel like that my level has gone up. Yeah. You feel like, okay, I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I just on the beat one.
Yeah.
Constantly for 5 minutes, increasing the tempo. I don't actually do 5 minutes in the class. I do it, probably a bit less because people are like, oh my arms are killing me.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
But just doing that, and then increasing the tempo. I think just even if you just went to a class and did that. That'd increase your level. It'd bring it up so much quicker. I feel like I'm increasing my level just by teaching it.
Yeah. It's funny. I've forgotten that because I didn't do the camp with him. And I always used to do that in my classes. Part of my warm-up was 5 minutes on each hand.
Yeah.
When at those week-long camps, he used to do it for 20 minutes on each hand.
No.
And if you slowed down, he would look at you like, come on, you can. And everyone was
20 minutes.
People were really.
Well, I guess you say levels would just go through the roof.
But it does. You can feel it because then when you start learning the actual rhythms, you kind of you're more relaxed because you've got through the tension or something. I think
it's a good indicator of where the tension is while you're playing. As you get faster and faster, I'm feeling it up in my shoulder area here, and you realise that's where I need to relax to get faster. And
that whole style of drumming, it does. I do think it comes on a what's the word on it? There's a fitness. You need to have stamina. That's the word. You need to have stamina. That's how it works. Without the stamina, you start to drop off. The energy drops off. You drop off. Yeah.
That's why I used to. I love going to all the camps. Just to be able to increase my stamina with the drumming. If nothing else, I'm just know that doing a whole weekend of drumming and then drumming for the dancers. I'll usually help out in some way. he's just going to keep adding to my stamina and the level of drumming. Yeah. So, like, you are part of the band Tamani as well. Is that right? I know it's probably not sort of still around, or it is, but just in pieces. But how did that come about?
I was thinking about that the other day. I am Tamani.
You are Tamani. You are it.
Yeah. Because when Tamani is playing, everybody behind me might not be. It's me with whoever is behind me now, and I just use that name. It was one that was originally formed with Muhammad.
Yeah.
We formed that with Muhammad.
I recently got a CD. I think I got a CD from someone. I think Matthew.
Yeah.
Gave me the CD, and I was like, "This is actually really cool. This is amazing stuff."
I think, like, as far as when I listen to a lot of African drumming CDs, as far as something to listen and groove to, it's a good album for that.
Yeah.
Some of them are a little bit what's the word? Too defined. So they're great if you want to listen and work out rhythms and stuff like that. But actually, just listening to them and
musicality.
Yeah, it's not. It doesn't. Yeah,
it's not for everybody.
I appreciate that they're great. That it's great music, but it's not. Whereas the Tamani album feels like something you can.
Yeah, like I can listen to an album and
listen to and stuff.
Yeah, it's a good groovy sort of vibe to it. I'm not sure whether it's still available on like iTunes or anything or.
Yeah, I've got about 4 boxes in my shed.
Oh yeah, okay, right. Anybody wants a copy?
Anybody wants one?
Let me know.
I should take them to camps and dish them out to people.
So yeah, if anybody wants a Tamani album, put your name in the comments and we'll try and get one to you. Obviously, there's going to be a cost involved.
Yeah,
we're not just going to give them away. These are like gold.
Yeah, that's right.
There you are, mate. Yeah, so I enjoy listening to that as well. And when was that? Like, when was that with Mohammed? Do you remember the dates?
I think that was 2002 we made that CD.
Wow. Over 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Mate, it hasn't aged. Just like you.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I don't, well, because partly CDs don't exist anymore, really. So it's hard to...
Yeah, so that's right, eh? We should charge them for downloads.
Yeah. Spotify.
Are you in contact with Mohammed much?
Not so much anymore. We have had different contacts and we have talked about getting him over here.
But at the moment, it's more sort of a piezo time now.
Yeah, it seems like, I have talked, but there's been a lot of different things going on in my life and stuff like that. And, the whole COVID thing kind of shut down organising things. So.
Yeah, it didn't help, did it? Didn't help.
No, yeah. So getting myself back. And I'm not, like, part of the thing for me too, it was easy when it was like email kind of stuff, but all of these digital platforms that exist now, like I only have Facebook, I don't have Instagram or TikTok or whatever other platform, so it's a little bit harder for me to, and I'm not very digitally competent either. So that's been a little bit of a thing that slowed me down with organising things.
So what would be your ideal camp? Like, who would you come to be in New Zealand for a weekend or a week? As long as you want, whoever you want, who would it be?
You mean as one person?
Or like maybe a group?
Yeah, well, I have thought about Apizo and Muhammad and Muhammad's brother Sibo.
Mm-hmm.
And then...
so are they three brothers or are that just two brothers?
Yeah, they're three brothers. Well, Muhammad and Apizo are brothers. No, sorry. Sibo and Apizo are brothers. Muhammad has the same father but a different mother.
Got you. Still brothers, as you were.
but they're still brothers. Yeah,
Live life together.
And there's another guy who's a dundun player. I don't know if you've met him, Marlon.
I haven't met him, no. No.
He came out a couple of years ago to Doug Brush's camp down in I've worked with him here in New Zealand before, and we're friends because I've hung out with them in Sydney, and because of my friendship with Muhammad. We've been friends since I've been connected to a Piso.
Yeah.
We kind of feel like a little bit like family with each other to a certain degree.
That'd be great to have, imagine having a Piso, Mohammed and his brother, what was his name? Sibo and Marlon together at a camp. Kora's, Djembe, Dunnan, dancing.
Yeah, well they do camps together in Australia.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
One day, mate. One day.
Piso did one. I don't think Muhammad was there, but Sibo and Marlon were there for a camp that he did last year in the Blue Mountains.
Mm. So what's your...
I think that was just before he came here, actually. Just before he came to the camp with Nathan and Amanda.
So what's your next focus? What are you focusing on at the moment with regards to music? Aha.
The Kora.
Cool. A banjo.
The banjo.
A Kora. Oh, cool. Are you making them?
Yes, I'm making them, yeah.
Beautiful instruments.
Yeah, me and Matt King. For those of you down in that part of the world.
Yeah,
Matt King, he's also what's the word? I love his work. He's very talented.
Mm. Yeah, he's doing some beautiful instruments.
Maker is, when he makes things, he does a good job.
Like his knives. Oh. You know his knives intimately.
Yeah. But like his music too, talent. Really, really, when he plays, I have people now, they haven't seen Matt for 20 years. They say, is he still playing? He's so good, man.
It's true. It is true, It is true.
Yeah.
I think he needs a Piso to come here more often to get him out of his house. Yeah. So and Matthew was he part of the original Tamani with you and?
No. He was part of me. There was me, Matt King, Jeremy Cloak, my partner Asho, and Alex, who's a dancer, who's a filmer, and Sasha. They were dancers, and we went on tour to the South Island. We went to the Nelson Arts Festival, and we did a little bit of a tour around the country together with the Piso, 30 drums and 6 of us in a van, and travelled around. So that was back in 1998, 99.
Jeez. Yeah, fair enough.
So Matthew was part of that original, and that's how we formed the group to do the CD with Muhammad. And that's when we, back in those days with the Piso, we called ourselves Drum Talk. And then when Muhammad came along, we called it we became Tamani.
So, with you, the Kora, what's the hardest part about making those Kora?
Oh,
because is it just getting the actual materials here?
Yeah. Well, good that. So these calabashes, they have to come from Africa, really. I mean, I think you can get them in Australia, but these big calabashes are the hardest thing. And quite often when you get them sent from Africa, they're broken because they're very fragile.
You have to sort of put a lot in to get a few back, potentially?
Yeah.
So where do you stock? Do you get them directly from Africa?
Yeah, now I do. Yeah, I was getting them from Australia
Mm-hmm.
as well, but I've got a connection in Africa now, and they're a little bit. I'm going for smaller ones,
Okay.
and I
Okay.
and not that I don't want to. It's not. I mean, it's slightly. It works out cheaper for me to do that, but also it's kind of. Um, then I'm just sending the money directly to someone in Africa as well. I
Yeah.
kind of rather than an intermediary.
Yeah. It seems like more morally correct thing to do, sort of thing.
Yeah, and it's nothing to do because I think the person that I was getting them from Australia, they're ethically. I feel they're ethically and morally a good person.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
enjoy dealing with them and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. It's just that this African guy happened to make contact with
Mm-hmm.
me, and I carried on that contact. Really.
So you're teaching the Kora as well at the moment?
Yeah, it's funny. A woman just rang me up for a lesson today.
Nice.
So tonight I'm giving a lesson. I'm not. I would never think of myself as a Kora teacher, but it's a little bit like drumming. If you know something, you can always teach somebody
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
something. So, and Apizo's coming, and he's going to be teaching 4 Kora classes here in Auckland.
Nice.
And that's the other thing about Apizo. He's a phenomenal Kora player.
Do you
And
know the dates for those Kora workshops?
yeah, the 19th, the 26th, I think the 2nd is the Wednesday, the 2nd, and the 9th of April.
Okay. Cool. So we'll
Here in Auckland, in the evening, night classes, 6 p.m. at my place.
yeah. How
At
do
the moment
people
at my
register?
place because what's that?
How do people register for the workshop?
Contact me.
Do you wanna put your details out there, or just
Yeah,
like
yeah.
what?
So, yeah, I've got a website, drumtalk.co.nz.
And you got all your details on there.
Details about everything that Apizo's doing is on that website,
Nice.
drumtalk.co.nz, or Dale Jimmy, DALEJIMMY, at hotmail.com.
Cool. So anybody's interested in anything Apizo related,
Yeah,
those the
yeah.
the dates and the
Yeah.
contact details.
Yeah, and contact Jeremy for the South Island stuff.
Okay.
Jeremy
And
Plunk.
would they be able to do that via your website as well, or?
No, not at the moment. That's a good thought though. I'll get that. Jeremy's actually arriving tomorrow from Australia,
Oh,
so
cool.
he'll be here, and we'll whack that up on my website from tomorrow.
That'd be good if you get everybody involved and everything like that.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean, thanks for all you do for the drumming community and all you have done. I mean, you were, as I say, you were the pioneer, and you just sort of you've paved the way for everybody. All of these masters coming over. So and I know everybody in New Zealand, African and non-African, appreciate you for that and what you've done.
Thanks, Simon. Yeah.
You know, we really do. And I look forward to catching up with the Apizo at some point. Well, fingers crossed, I can get him to Wellington. We've got to see how it goes for the Wellington stuff, but it's just bad timing for Koopa Doopa.
For those of you that feel like making the effort, he is teaching a drum camp here, 4th to the 6th of April. So that's also up on the website.
Excellent. 4th to the 6th of April.
Yeah, weekend workshop.
Is that in Southhead? Is that Southhead?
The June Lakes Lodge.
June Lakes Lodge. That's a beautiful location as well.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, quite special. Yeah. Hey, Jimmy, thanks for your time, mate. Thanks for your time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. And it works both ways. I appreciate, and I'm very appreciative of the Wellington crew, the whole Wellington crew.
Oh, shit.
But the Wellington crew, I love them. You know, I love your energy. I can see that you work well together, and
Yeah, we're really lucky down here in Wellington that we've got good people and good drummers, good dancers, and lots of things happening. So
exactly. Yeah, it's good to see.
Thanks, man. Really appreciate it.
And I appreciate all of your support,
Jimmy. Thank you, brother. Thanks a lot.
Take care,
We'll
man.
sign
Thank
off here, and see you around.
Okay.
Take care, bro.
Cheers, Simon. You too. Bye-bye.